What is up everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today we are talking about student tech. So good tech for a good price. So whether you're a student looking to have your own tech bag or you're just looking for budget-friendly tech, well, you came to the right place. Let's get started. So let's get started with the bag. I would recommend that you pick up a bag by JanSport, regardless of the model that you choose. They're all really good quality. I found mine for over 10 years now. When I started high school is when I picked it up, and it's been holding up really well ever since. I have absolutely no complaints about it, and mine is definitely a bit beaten up, but like I said, it's been more than 10 years since I bought it. I've drawn all over it. Whenever I was bored in class, I would just draw, so it's definitely a good bag. You can definitely see. So this bag definitely shows how good of a quality these bags are. They're about $50-ish, and it's been more than 10 years and it's still holding up, so it's definitely a really solid bang for the buck. And now, of course, you're gonna need some sort of laptop, and I would recommend that you pick up the MacBook Air for multiple reasons. The first one being that you'll fit in whenever you go to Starbucks, and of course, they're a bit more expensive than the competition, but you're really getting a solid machine for the price. If you pick one up, one of the newer ones, and you pick it fairly well, you'll be able to keep it for a really long time. And as a matter of fact, the recent MacBook Air are more powerful than the computer I use every day, which is a MacBook Pro, the M1 model from 2019. It's the base model, of course, but it's definitely holding up for everything I do, and I even do video editing with 4K footage, 3D rendering, stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend that you do pick up a MacBook. And if you have a bit more money to spend, I think that the MacBook Pros are also really worth it, especially if you're in a program that's going to be a bit harder on your computer. And now, if you do pick up a Mac, you're obviously going to need a dongle, because that's just part of owning a Mac. And the one I would recommend is one made by Ampere. It's super good. I've had it for ever since I've started to have a MacBook, actually, so for a few years. And it's been holding up really well. You have an HDMI port at the back if you ever decide to use a secondary monitor. You have two USB-C ports, one regular USB, and you also have an SSD card slot. So if you were to have a camera, well, you could also plug in your SSD card in there. And talking about cameras, you don't need to spend any money on a camera, of course, but I do think that if you do, you'll be taking more pictures, so you'll have a bit more memories to look back on. I think it would definitely be a cool idea. You could, of course, just use your phone if you want to. But if you were to look for a camera, I think that the Sony a6000 is definitely a really solid bang for the buck. It's not too expensive. It does the job really well. You'll be able to swap lenses if you want to. You could start filming as well with it if you want to. So if you want to start like a YouTube channel or something, maybe to pay for your school or whatever, well, you could do that with that camera. I also think that having a nice wireless charger is something that's really cool, and the one I really recommend is one by a company called Ampere. It's this one right there. Huge thanks to them for sending this over, and as well as giving you guys 20% off. That's right, if you go on the website and you type in the code NICK20, you'll get 20% off. So once again, huge thanks to them. So I've had it for a bit now, and I've been playing around with it. I really like the way it's built. The quality is really nice. You can also fold it up to make like a stand. So if you're studying or something, you want to have your phone maybe to rewatch a lecture or something like that, you can make a little stand for your phone. Just pop your phone on there, it'll charge wirelessly. They have a few options, and one of them is to have an Apple Watch charger built into it. So it's been really useful whenever I'm charging my Apple Watch. It's really small, so you can carry around anywhere that you go. It's charged by USB-C. So once again, the less cables you have, the happier you are. And yeah, it allows you to charge up to 3 devices. So when I'm going to bed or something, I can charge my phone, my AirPods, as well as my Apple Watch. So solid product, of course, linked in the description below. Now let's talk about audio. I think that having a good pair of noise cancelling headphones is a really good idea, because anywhere that you go, there's always noises around, especially if you're at Starbucks studying with your new MacBook. And having a pair of noise cancelling headphones will really help you to stay focused. So I would recommend 2 pairs, depending on what you want. The first one would be the Sennheiser 450 BT. So they're a Bluetooth headphone by Sennheiser, and as you might expect from Sennheiser, the sound quality is absolutely fantastic. The active noise cancelling, while it's not as good as other headphones such as the XM4s by Sony, they're half the price, and considering that they are over-ear headphones, they'll cancel a bit of noises just because of the design, so it's definitely a good choice. And if you have music on, you won't hear anything around you. I'm telling you, it's really a solid pair of headphones. And you can charge them by USB-C, which is always great. Less cables, the happier we are. And the next one would be the AirPod Pros. They're just a really solid device overall. They're a bit more expensive, however you can pick them up for about $200-ish now on Amazon. I actually did a review on them last week, so if you want to check it out, I'll leave the link right there and in the description below as well. But overall, the sound quality is great. They're super easy to use just because they're an Apple product. They're linked to any other Apple product, so whether that be your Mac, your phones, whatever. And the active noise cancelling is fantastic. I also think that having a nice small speaker is pretty nice. The one I would recommend is the Bose SoundLink Micro Bluetooth speaker. It's a small speaker by Bose, and of course, being that it's Bose, sound quality once again is fantastic. It's really small, so it's really easy to carry around. You have a strap, you can strap it directly to your backpack if you wanted to. It's also water resistant, so I don't know, if you want to listen to music in the shower or something, you can. If you're going outside for a walk or run or something, it's raining, you don't have to worry about it. It's built really well, it's solid. If you drop it on the ground, it's perfectly fine. So it's a really good small speaker to carry around. And you have about 6 hours of battery life, so it's definitely good enough for most situations. And I would also recommend that you pick up an SSD drive. The one I use and the one that I recommend is one that's made by G Drive. I have the 1TB version, and it's fine for me. However, you might need more or less depending on whatever you're going to be studying in. So make your own decision, I guess, about how much storage you need. But this one is really good. I've had it for years and years, and I never had any issue with it. I am going to need to pick another one up just because now I have more footage from my camera because I'm filming these videos. I would also recommend that you pick up a good mouse because you're going to be spending a lot of time on your computer, and having a mouse that won't hurt your wrist is something that I think is important. The one I would recommend is the Marathon M720 by Logitech. It's basically a baby version of the MX Master 3, but it's also a lot cheaper. So it's really comfortable. It's a lot smaller, so it's definitely easier to carry around. And it also pairs up to 3 devices. You might think that's useless, but I remember when I was in school, a lot of the time I had my own computer that I was connected to. Whenever we had exams, we had to use the school's computer, so I could plug in my mouse through Bluetooth on just using another I guess Bluetooth slot. And even when we wanted to print out stuff at school, we had to go to the library, connect to a computer there, and then print out all our stuff. So I think that having a mouse that you can connect multiple devices to it is a really cool thing. But overall, it's super comfortable. So even if you're not going to be using this, it's still really worth it just because it's super comfortable and your wrists are never going to hurt. Another device I really think you should buy if you're a student is a Kindle. I know they're not super cheap, but they're not too expensive, and it'll definitely allow you to read a lot more. Just because, well, first of all, it's a lot easier to carry this around than to carry a bunch of books around. It's also, if you have it with you, you'll probably be more likely to read. And everything that you highlight in your Kindle, you can see those notes later on in your phone. And if you use other apps, you can export them to other things like Notion or something. So it's definitely a really good device. And this one is the Paperwhite version, so it has an LED backlight built into it. So whenever I was commuting, like in the bus or something later in the evening when it was dark outside, or in the bus as well, I could have that small light turned on, so it was easier to read for my eyes. And so yeah, it's definitely a huge space saver just because like you can have thousands and thousands of books in this small device. And you're definitely not going to be carrying thousands of books in your bag. And also, if you're thinking about saving money, if you go on Amazon, they always have huge sales for Kindle books. I've picked up like maybe 20 or 50 books that were under $1. So it's definitely really worth it. I've definitely saved a lot of money by getting this. I also want to talk about taking notes. I know that there are a lot of great note-taking apps on your computers. The one I would recommend is definitely Notion, because you're going to be able to organize all of your classes directly in this app. But I have to say that a lot of studies have shown that writing your notes by hand is a lot better for your memory than typing them down. So I'd recommend that you pick up a notebook. My favorite one are by Moleskine. I don't know how you say the name of that company properly, but I really like their paper. However, I know they're a bit expensive, and any notebook will do the job really. But what I found to work the best for me was to take notes by hand whenever I was in class, and then I would kind of rearrange them a bit in my computer and that way I was, well, taking down notes, so I was a bit more active in class, and then I was reviewing them all when I was typing them back in my computer. And of course, if you have a bit more money to spend, I think an iPad is definitely worth it. I definitely think if you're a student, it's a really solid device. It might even be able to replace your Mac completely. If you want to know why the iPad can be my main device, but why it might be the right device for you, check out this video I made on the subject. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.